Welcome to Thorns Live, presented by Toyota, streaming your way live, post-game analysis. We've got interviews and questions as the Portland Thorns conclude their first NWSL Challenge Cup match from Utah, losing to arch rival Carolina 2-1 in an absolute thriller. Good morning, everybody. Ann Schatz joined by former Thorns standout Marian Dougherty. Marian, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. And before we dive into your analysis, Marian, I got to quickly ask you, this was the first American team league sport to commence play during COVID. It's played in an empty stadium. There are no fans. And yet on national TV, CBS, it was a chance for the whole entire nation and world to watch the NWSL and the Portland Thorns and Carolina. Your take on that environment and atmosphere?
I think it's incredible. I think the fact that we get to use these women, these strong, incredible women, to lead the charge. And we know that sports unite people, and it brings so much energy to the world. And it's really needed at a moment that we're all going through. And I think just being able to watch sport again, and then on top of that, watching these incredible women play soccer, it kind of just makes me so proud. And knowing that, they're putting their lives out there, but they believe in this, they're passionate about it. And it's really just bringing everyone together through sport.
I was absolutely blown away by the play of Bella Bixby, goalkeeper for the Thorns, joining us now. Bella, you get your first start with the Portland Thorns, first play on American soil since graduating from Oregon State. You were awesome. Help us understand when you found out you were going to get the start, and your feel of the match is terrific against this high-powered Carolina team.
Yeah, I got the news at the start a few days ago before training. And sorry about that. And just spent the last few days preparing, getting my head right for my first start. Obviously, we knew it was going to be against the Courage, and it's going to be arguably one of the toughest games of this tournament. So I knew I had my strategies right and my head right. It felt awesome to be back playing again. I've got a good squad in front of me to help me out, and I feel like we left this game with a lot to build on. We didn't get the result we wanted, but I feel like we're in a good spot moving forward.
Bella, what would you say were some of the key takeaways for you on what you guys would like to build on going into the next game?
Yeah, I think just continuing to play smart when that altitude and fatigue hits us, finding each other, because we played some good football today. Just continuing to keep that in mind, that when we're tired, we can still find feet, play the soccer that we've been training for the last few weeks and prepared, and not change up our game plan, but just keep going with it because we had a lot of success today. Missed a few chances here and there, but so many good things to move forward with that I think will help us be successful.
Bella, as you were graduating from Oregon State and you knew how interested the Thorns were in you, and you're drafted in the third round by the Thorns, and you learn from one of the greats, Nadine Angerer. You've got AD in front of you, Eckerstrom, quality keepers, and you're battling. What kept you confident? What kept you thinking to yourself, I'm ready, give me a chance, I'm going to go in, I'm going to prove myself? What kept you going?
Yeah, I think just those three people have been really important in my feeling ready and confident over the last 2 years. Like you said, it's been 2.5 years since I've played in the U.S. We have an amazing group, Nadine, AD, and Britt. The four of us are extremely close, extremely supportive, always pushing each other to take each other's spots because that's what makes us better. We're all extremely close off the field. Lots of communication between us off the field about our performances, what we could be doing better. And that's just helped us grow and all three of us stay ready for any opportunity. And in this league, your opportunity can come when you least expect it, which is what happened for me. And I felt like I was very well prepared by my comrades there, AD and Britt, and certainly by Nadine. So yeah, I mean, you never know when it's going to come, and I felt very ready.
I got to ask you, right out of the chute, Carolina tests you. I mean, Carolina comes and you make some quality saves immediately. How much did that boost the confidence? And you made them throughout the rest of the game. You were great off your line. You anticipated well. You took away that near post. But that initial flurry when you were tested was like, whoa. Or were you thinking, all right, bring it on?
Yeah, I think just getting those initial shots, I didn't, I stayed even-keeled and pretty neutral. Didn't want to have an emotional response to those because anything can happen in these games. But yeah, right off the bat, that deflection save, definitely, okay, this is how it's going to be. Just be ready, stay neutral. And it felt fine. Like I felt very supported. And it was just like, okay, next one, let's go. So
great performance today. Congratulations on your first start coming against the NWSL champs. And man, you held your ground. Congratulations on what was just a memorable performance by yourself.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. Good talking with you.
Thank you.
I mean, James, Marian, we know right out of the chutes, AD doesn't even make the trip, the number one keeper. And, Britt and Bixby have been going at it, and Parsons goes with Britt, with Bella, and it was a great choice. She was fantastic.
Yeah, you can just see even there's a calmness and a confidence about her that even when she was speaking to us there, that it comes across. I think you saw that in the game. I mean, the first few minutes she's tested, and rather than getting rattled, she stayed calm, collected, and I just felt like showed her confidence, and that's what the team needed in that moment.
It's that first half. Let's break it down while we've got a minute. Obviously, Carolina outshoots Portland. The corner kicks were in the Courage's favor. What I'd love to talk about, though, is Lindsey Horan and how she made her presence felt. And I know that initial header that forced LeBay's save was ruled offside. I get that. But she made her presence felt, and that continued through the match, but it started in that first half.
Yeah, Horan, for me, had the strongest presence today. I just felt like she was pretty incredible from defense to offensive. But I think what allowed her to be that player today was the players around her. So you had Salem in the first half that I thought she stayed on defense. She knew her role. She kept the game calm. She, distributed the ball where needed. And that really allowed Horan to get forward. And I just felt like because of that and other players around her really kind of allowed Horan to do and play her game that she needed to. And her ability to sync up with Sink and Rodriguez, I think the three of them, I like to call them the trio. I'm excited to watch them throughout this tournament. I think the three of them, there's something special there.
I hear you. And, especially in that second half, I think Sink was really able to kind of boss it around that midfield. And Captain Sinclair, I believe, is ready to join us. Sink, thanks for being here, my friend.
How are you guys? Hey.
Let's get your take on that, on this first game. Obviously, you guys have been training in short order together to get ready for this crazy tournament. Your reaction to being in Utah, this type of tournament, and the first match against Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm mixed emotions with the way it ended. Obviously, very disappointed with, giving up a late goal. It's always difficult. But in the same time, just super proud of our team. Obviously, playing the back-to-back champions, I thought we played really well. And it's just exciting to – finally get to play with some of the new teammates. It makes me very excited for what's to come this next month.
What were some of the key factors that you guys were focused in on as a team to get after and focus in on this game to try and win? And how are you going to use those to kind of take into the next game?
Yeah, I think what we've been working on during the short preseason was just our identity. And we found that in previous years, depending on who we were playing against, we changed formations, we changed tactics. Whereas this year, we're kind of set on how we want to play. It doesn't matter who we're playing against. obviously little adjustments here and there. We want to, bring the Thorns DNA, and I think you saw little bits of that. Trying to keep the ball, play possession. I mean, North Carolina makes it very difficult with the pressure they put you under.
Yeah.
But just, in midfield, trying to overload them with the way they play. They have to release someone, and just trying to find that spare player as much as we could.
Sig, it was interesting as you guys welcomed in some new faces and some new starters. We just talked to Bella. She was fantastic in goal. But you see Rocky doing her thing, a veteran, but first time with you guys. Charlie comes off the bench, the depth of your bench. She comes in and makes her presence felt. If you could speak to some of the players who got their first starts or first quality minutes and the play of Rocky, we'd love to hear from you.
Oh, I mean, I don't know where to start. I mean, Bella came in, obviously, AD being hurt. She came in, was a stud. She's so calm back there. It's crazy. I think it's hard to not mention adding Becky to our team.
That's our yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think she's probably the best defender in the world. So anytime you add that to your roster, it's going to help. And Rocky, it's nice to finally get to play with her instead of against her. With always against her in national teams, I'm always up against her. So she just adds a new dimension to our team. And then, the front players, especially the ones that came in, Simone and Morgan, man, they're athletic. And, in this heat, in this tournament, like bringing on two players like that in the second half, can't be easy for the opposition backline.
Sink, I noticed throughout the game that you tended to kind of fall back more into the midfield. What was your personal strategy on how you wanted to approach the game, and what did you want to bring for the team?
Yeah, I mean, well, we set up in a diamond, and me playing sort of like the tip of it. And pretty much Mark just said, try and find space. Playing against the box midfield, there's going to be spaces somewhere. Just do your best to try and find those pockets, preferably behind their midfield. And then just help organize our front players. We've got some, inexperienced players playing up top. They're exciting, but some inexperience up there. So just helping organize them as best I can. And honestly, just help Rocky and Lindsay try and get into attack as much as possible.
Yeah. I think a lot of you guys playing heavy minutes, you and Menges and Haran and Sauerbrunn, Kling. So I know recovery and rest is going to be critical. Thank you so much for taking the time. All in all, heck of a first match, man. Heck of a first match.
Thank you.
Great
Thank
to
you very
see
much.
you.
Hey, good to see you guys. Hi, Marian. All right, see you guys.
Cheers.
Miss you, buddy.
Oh, man, I know, Marian, you and Sink go all the way back to those early years.
Oh, man.
When you guys were together. I know it.
One of the best, I tell you, on and off the pitch. She is just a class act.
I'm not sure you could ever find a better captain on the pitch, a better teammate, and a friend off the pitch. There weren't a lot of highlights in that first half, but we know that Bixby was making her presence felt. Haran denied on that offside header. Second half, a ton of highlights. And I think we've got some highlights queued up of this match that turned in to a heck of a barn burner in Carolina's favor, 2-1, with that game winner in stoppage play. So if we've got highlights queued up, I hope we can show them to you. I know a lot of folks, Marian, were watching at home, but it's interesting to revisit what I thought was a really wonderful way for this tournament to start. 2-1, stoppage time, game winner, big name players playing big. That's on a national network televised audience platform. It was great.
Yeah, I agree. I think that
at the North Carolina Courage starting 11, not too many surprises.
No, but one of them at the right back position with Merrick sliding in. She's going to be more conservative, tying up the center backs, and that will give freedom to the left flank for Daniels. And they are going to be a handful going up against this Portland Thorns team because there's a rookie in net with Bella Bixby. Parsons says she's good coming off her line, claiming those aerial balls. She's going to have to do that today against North Carolina. And you can see, Jen, already how high Daniels is on the left side.
Here comes Lynn Williams, former Golden Boot winner in this league. And Bixby is called upon early to keep it out of the net.
And that's a big moment for the rookie, Bixby.
The header from Haran off the post. And just like that, a game can change. But Haran just a few inches off the mark. Some space here. Ball in. Do we have our first goal? I think we do. And if you missed the introduction to Haley Mace coming into the match, I bet you don't miss her now.
4 explosive players up top.
Bouret looks out wide. Header in the box from Haran. Has she tied it up? Oh yes, the Portland Thorns get a little life, a little love as we are tied at 1. Haran might have gotten the ball there to begin with, but Simone Charlie off the bench into the back of the net to finish the play.
And Portland wanted to be able to sustain attacks. Well, this one they switched to that far flank, and that's where the service comes in. Lindsay Haran again gets on the end of it with her head. Can't connect on the first one. LeBay gets the help of the crossbar, but can't cover up the rebound. And Simone Charlie's there for the put away.
Mewis, a touch to get free into attacking territory, across, and a goal! North Carolina and Lynn Williams finally come through, giving the Courage the advantage late.
Stoppage time goal by Lynn Williams, one of the world-class players in this tournament, in this league, beats Bella Bixby. So it's a 2-1 Carolina victory. What a second half, all in all, Marian. What do you take away in the pros column, if you will, for the Portland Thorns, especially the way they battled back?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest pros for me that Portland needs to focus in on is the fact that they had the success down the midfield that they did against Carolina, who to me has one of the better midfields in this league. I think that they really were able to break them down and really kind of create some chances out of that. I do think, Portland needs to work on their, in-box game, the final third, as we reference it, just kind of getting a little sharper and a little more aggressive going towards goal. But for the most part, I think that they really need to focus in on that positive throughout the midfield.
We're delighted to have Mark Parsons joining us now, head coach of the Portland Thorns. Mark, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it very much. Game 1 of the Challenge Cup in the books. Let's get your take. A lot of things to draw from for the Portland Thorns in positive favor.
Yeah, first of all, I'm just happy that my head fits in the size of this screen. So it's a little win here after a tough game. Look, really proud of the group, really proud of the group. We're not going to let a few seconds change the way we feel about a really hard-working performance. 100% areas to improve. I loved what we were just saying there about the final third. Yeah, I think the final third can be more aggressive, more sharp, more purposeful, more deliberate. When we did deliver, when we did put balls in, when we did play players through, we got opportunities. And I also agree that we showed glimpses of what this team's going to be able to do with our midfield. We got ballers in there, and they want to play, but they want to be deliberate and purposeful with that. And I think when we get a little bit more belief and confidence with how we can play on the ball and take advantage of different spaces, opposition take advantage, I think we can. Yeah, we're in good place. So look, the result is tough. I don't like the result. But the spirit of this group, the work of this group, we go 1-1, and we're the team that's going to score the second goal. The end of the first half was scary for us. They took control, and we just had to hang on, dear life. That second half, think about their fitness levels and what they're known for. I was proud of what we did once we went 1-1, and we had a couple of half looks, a couple of chances. Also, Lindsay's chance off the post before they scored. But there's big lessons. So I'll be really clear. I think really proud of the work. But there's big lessons here, that especially that second goal. That's something we prioritize that isn't going to happen. It's tough. 94th minute of the first game on this heat altitude with Carolina's energy to keep going. But yeah, we just got pulled out a little bit into areas, and then there's less space to defend what we know is going to happen. They're going to put a ball in the box, and we've got to be ready to defend that the right way. So good work, great shift. we're going to grow, we're going to learn. We walk off the field and you go, hey guys, these kids can play. These kids are ready to win a tournament, but we got to learn, reflect, review, and build on this.
Marian?
How do you think, hi Mark, how are you? It's great
to see you.
How do you think just the elements of, being in altitude, the heat, really kind of affected the overall game? And how are you guys going to manage that moving forward?
Yeah, to be honest, the mentality of the group is so strong and they just didn't give up. They didn't work. That you don't feel it now. Everyone's exhausted, right? And you saw the end of that first half specifically. I think it's now recovery, and they're going to realize what hit them because their adrenaline and their mentality. If you don't have good mentality, you feel it, right? You start making excuses, and their mentality is so strong. It'll be tonight when they unwind, where it'll be like, whoa, that hit us. But we've got through, right? This is day 3 or 4. We've been here. Day 3 to 5 is the hardest to adjust, and we just played against a high energy team. Yeah, I think we're in we can use this as a launch pad to be able to deal with the environment, deal with the heat and the altitude, and start to adjust quick.
Well, you saw Sauerbrunn doing her thing in that back line. Great addition. Rocky solidifying that midfield. Great to see Haran being the great. But, man, Mark, I got to talk to you about Bella Bixby. I mean, this is a player that you were high on when she was at Oregon State. She has been a grinder, and she has learned, and she has stepped up and making hay with her first start.
Yeah, I really love what Bella's done. I think anyone who's been inside this group isn't surprised. Going down at Oregon State, watching her, making sure, doing the work at draft day, make sure no one else is aware of her, no one else is going to touch her. Nadine in Germany going, I'm flying into the draft because we have to get her. And it's like, no, Nadine, trust me and Gavin, we can do it. Gavin will do it. And she's like, no, I'm flying in. She flew in. She sat there. She had her eyes staring at us all draft. Bella Geist at the time, right? She got married. Yep. Bella, we could get Bella. That's why we're here. That's why I've flown here. So, yeah, we get her, and we've talked to her every week. It's a medium and long-term project. I love what she's done today. What she's done today is because she's worked for 2, 3, 4 years in our club for this. And Britt Eckerstrom and AD France and Nadine Angra, their culture and the way that they work, everyone's ready when it's time to roll. But you saw glimpses of what a goalkeeper who has Portland Thorns profile and can be really special for us. I'm glad that she's shown that. But at the same time, Nadine's already drawing up the improvements for tomorrow when they sit down and review.
Of course. Mark, thanks so much for taking the time. I know, as you mentioned, rest and recovery, because you guys, this is the first game of 3 in 9 days. So go take a load off, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Love the info. Good to see you guys.
Cheers. Take care. You too. Marian, I'm glad you mentioned, heat and altitude. It's going to take its toll throughout the tournament on all teams. And boy, that 5 substitution rule is going to come in handy, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I think, some people just don't realize how difficult it is to play in altitude if you've never experienced it. I mean, being a Coloradan myself, I had the ability to train in altitude and live in it, but it's a huge difference, and it can really change the way a game is played. It can change just, the physical part of the game. So
I think, what we'd love to do in this show, and I think we're about ready to do it, is incorporate some fan questions for probably you, the expert. So if we can queue up a couple of fan questions. Okay, here we go. I got to put my specs on, though, my friend. All right. Ann or Marian? That means you, Marian. Here it comes. What do you think we could have done differently in this game to just have that draw stay in place?
For me, I think, and this comes with a few games under your belt, especially with the defense getting to know each other. The Thorns got pulled apart in areas, so it created gaps within their line, or it pulled, Emily up at times or Becky out of place. And I think that's just something that they really need to focus in on, is staying together as a defensive unit and being very strategic in where their line is, and making sure that their line between the midfield has the right amount of distance. So I think moving forward, they'll get that as they get more games under their belt. But I think that is something that, for me, could have been a difference maker in this game. And then down to marking in the box. I think it's just basic, soccer 101, you have to mark in the box. And you cannot leave someone like a Lynn Williams unmarked in the box, because she will find a way to score. And I think that, those two were kind of the big things for me, and why we didn't get the W.
What's interesting for me too is, before we go to the next question, is Haran was left unmarked in the box a lot, in our favor, if you will, and that almost cost Carolina this game.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, I think we've got another question coming up. Marian, this will be for you as well. So echoing what we just said, Haran, a key factor, Rocky, really good. Those two together, they say they speak the same soccer language. You could see quickly. I know they've been training, but not that long together with the COVID thing going on, the virus going on. They seem very good together quickly. Would you agree?
I do. But I think it's more than just the two of them together. I think you had Sync in the mix, and that's why I kept referencing the trio, because I think the three of them together are really able to break down a defense. They find that space, that open space. They get the ball wide. They really have this ability, I think, to work together. And then I really don't want to overlook the fact that you had Salem in the first half, who was a key member to allowing the three of those to kind of create that offensive presence. So
how great is that for Salem, coming off the ACL and working her tail off? And she gets the start, and she's not just plugging gaps. She's really solidifying that midfield.
Yep, agreed.
Let's see, one last question. Okay. New look lineup. Obviously, a lot of players were not available today. Heath not playing in the tournament. AD doesn't even make the trip because of injuries. New look lineup, new starters from Everett to Salem. What do you think?
I love it, to be honest. I think it's so great. It shows the depth that the Thorns have, and the ability to, utilize or call on players that they may need, whether it be in this tournament or, if they look into future seasons. They've got depth on that team, and that's incredible. And just to allow those players that are new to this team to gain the confidence and experience is tremendous. I mean, it's what's going to help those players to continue moving forward and actually, make a difference in the future games is just getting minutes under their belt. So I think it was really great to see, and I think it's really promising for the Thorns.
I do too. Another reason why I like the extra substitutions being allowed in this tournament, so that players can get some minutes. I thought Weaver just gave that quick burst of energy, the rookie out of Washington State. I think Morgan Weaver is going to be an absolute gamer for this club. And Sophia Smith, dealing with a knock, the Stanford phenom, who will see action in this tournament. I got to admit, Marian, I'm excited to see her on the pitch as well.
I agree. I mean, obviously, there's so much to, see from those two, but just the moment that Weaver entered the game today, her energy level, she really lifted the pace up. And I think it was in the 80th minute, she had that tremendous shot on goal. She's an attack. She's an attack. Like, she wants to attack. She's very offensive minded. She wants to score. And that's what the Thorns need. They need someone that's aggressive going forward and wants to score. So I'm extremely excited for Weaver and what she has to bring to this team. And I think, as she gets more and more comfortable, we're going to see some of her greatness.
Yeah, me too. The fact that she got that ball in control, was able to turn a little off the shot. I hear you. I think we've got another question. Let's see. No, we're all finished with the questions. Okay. So I'm going to ask you one last question, partner. As the game has come and gone, a 2-1 victory for Carolina with that stoppage time game winner. Your takeaways from this huge picture, NWSL coming back, empty stadium, Challenge Cup is underway. Your thoughts on this day one?
I loved it. I think it's such a great start to the tournament. I think it's such a great start to sports coming back in the United States. I love that women are leading the charge. I love that everyone, on that pitch today, whether they were playing or not, was supporting Black lives. I think it's the positive energy that this world needs right now. And I'm excited for the tournament, and I'm excited to watch the Thorns continue progressing and playing their game. And like Sink said, I think in the past, the Thorns have struggled with their identity, and they've tried to change, the way they played in certain games. And they're really focused in on, they are the Thorns. They are going to play this way with small little changes. And I'm really excited to watch that throughout this tournament. And I think the added personnel of, Smith and Weaver and Rodriguez and Bella, I'm so excited for this tournament. And I want to say season, but we'll just focus in on the tournament.
Marian, thanks a ton for being with us. And obviously all of you, thank you for joining us. Carolina pulling out the 2-1 victory over the Portland Thorns, the game winner in stoppage time, a heck of a match to start this Challenge Cup. The Thorns' next match happens against a very good Chicago club on Wednesday, July 1st, 9:30 a.m. Pacific kickoff. And remember, this is game one today. Game one of 3 games in 9 days for the Thorns. So rest and recovery. Who will be paramount? Up next, Chicago, Wednesday, July 1st, 9:30 a.m. kickoff. Thorns Live, presented by Toyota. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on Wednesday.